What's going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another Bring the Juice Colts podcast live stream. Thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight on this beautiful, cold Friday evening. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I know we streamed yesterday, but I was bored and I was like, let's talk a little bit more today. Wanted to bring my friend Matt from Inside the Horseshoe podcast on here. Matt, how you doing, man?
Doing pretty good, just we're in a very exciting part of the off season. It's very exciting. Got some big stuff coming out for movie related things for my other channel, but
What movies are you going to see?
we're seeing Knock at the Cabin Sunday.
I'm
Take my
seeing
dad.
that tomorrow. I'm seeing that with my girl tomorrow.
Nice.
I'm excited for it.
I was gonna go yesterday, but my dad's like, "Hey, I want to go see it," and I was like, "Fine, I'll wait a couple days." So I told him I'll go see 80 for Brady instead, and he told me, word for word, if you go see that movie, you're no longer a part of the family.
Oh, so you have to be prepared to just not be a part of your family anymore.
Yeah, if I wanted to see 80 for Brady, but I'm not going to go see it because Tom Brady will not get a cent of my check. He just will not.
I don't know how much commission he's getting out of that, but
I mean, his name's on the poster, and I mean, obviously because of the title, and then he's also on the cast, so he's probably going to get a decent chunk. I mean,
right.
I'm sure the Patriots will too. So I can't give money.
Yeah, I'm going to see Knock at the Cabin Door Saturday, and
Nice.
also my girl wants to go see that new that Winnie the Pooh one that's coming out. That one.
I've seen that the day it comes out.
Yeah. She wants me to go and see it the day after Valentine's Day. It's kind of like a late Valentine's gift for each of us. So I was like, all right, we'll go check it, see what it's about. But
it's a perfect Valentine's Day movie. Just watching your childhood hero kill a bunch of teenagers.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect. I don't know what to expect.
It's gonna be terrible. It's gonna be terrible, but if you laugh, that's all that matters.
I kind of want to go see that Cocaine Bear film too. Kind of want to go see that.
They're actually making an ad for the Super Bowl for it too. They're spending
the
money
actually?
For it. Yeah, it's like $7 million for a 30-second TV
Yeah, for
spot.
a 30-second film. Yeah, it's insane. So shout out to the 50 people in here right now, guys. Be sure to like, be sure to comment, be sure to subscribe. I think the only other movie that I really am interested to go and see next is the Ant-Man film. Because from what I heard is Iron Man and Spider-Man are in that movie. I don't know how. I assume it's probably going to be like a cameo because they're in the quantum realm. It's kind of how they can do a lot of different things with it. But
I will say, I don't want to burst your bubble, but they're not in it.
No, they are in it. They're casted.
They're not. That was a fake video that went out because somebody did the same thing with Doctor Strange, where they put Robert Downey Jr. and Tom Holland. Like on
never saw that.
I think it was IMDb. It's one of the websites where you can see who's in the movie. For the first Tom Holland Spider-Man movie, it said Tobey Maguire was Uncle Ben in that movie. But yeah, that I've heard that's not true at all. There are some surprises though. You might get something fantastic in it.
Yeah, all right. We'll see. But we'll kind of get back into the football.
Yeah, I was gonna say
stuff of this, but so obviously, how have you felt about this Indianapolis Colts struggle to find their next head coach? It's been over 3 weeks. It's been almost a month. I think it's actually been 26 days as of today that they have started since they have interviewed their first person. And in that time frame, they have interviewed 15 people. They interviewed 7 different people for a second time and an 8th here soon. And we assume that if they don't sign Shane Steichen by tomorrow, that there's going to be a third round of guys that are going to get interviewed. I mean, it's got to be draining for you. I know you've said it that you like that they're being smart,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's got to be draining for you.
I mean, kind of. I'm not as worried about it. I expected something like this to happen. They're just being very thorough with everybody. Honestly, there might be like 3 guys that they love, and maybe they wanna do a third, round of interviews with those guys just to make sure they find the right fit. Like, I would rather them do 3, 4 rounds of interviews to find the right guy than to just, after a second round of interviews, hire somebody and then they don't end up being the right fit. So, I like that they're doing it, taking their time. I know I'm in the minority when it comes to that they're taking this long. But, you know, I think another reason why I'm not as worried about it is because the only other team looking for a head coach is the Cardinals. So it's
Yes,
not like
but
I'm not really freaking out about that.
they have had at least one name that has been tied to a lot of news for the Indianapolis Colts, and that is Brian Callahan.
Yeah.
And who knows if Callahan wants their job or if, maybe the Colts want to, interview somebody else. And then maybe Arizona at last second wants to look at somebody else that is in
Right.
our portal and wants to take it. So the only problem you have with that is, if you take this on for too long, then you're going to get in a situation where that's going to happen. And then on top of it, who knows how long this is going to take for them. I mean, they said that this could go into mid-February,
Yeah.
which is utterly ridiculous to me at this point. But like how I just don't understand why there needs to be a third round, Matt. Like, I mean, honestly, you said it. Like, they have to have 2 or 3 guys that they absolutely love over the rest of the bunch. Why do you
Yeah.
need a third round of that stuff? Like, for me, I mean, I've never been in a situation like that to interview these guys, but it just seems dumb that you've had these guys in the building for 6, 8, 10 hours already, and you still need more information to figure out who's the best one. I'm just confused.
I don't know. Like I said, I think they're just being very thorough with it. Like, I think Chris Ballard knows that if he doesn't get this right, he's probably not going to be in Indy. So I think it's a matter of making sure he finds the right guy that
Mason, I see. I see it. Okay, you don't need
yeah,
to keep spamming it. All right, I
yeah,
got it.
say it worked.
I've
But
heard from my cousin's sister's uncle's stepdad that it's Callahan. Cousin's sister's uncle's stepdad. It's Callahan.
that's
funny.
But no, I feel like right now we're either gonna get a third round or it's gonna be Steichen. It's gonna be him or a third round because
Well, we're
they
gonna find
can't.
out by the end of tomorrow.
Yeah, if we get to tomorrow or Sunday or Monday even, and they say, or you see something come out where they have unofficially agreed to terms, then that's why it's taken as long as it has
Well,
been. But
and
again,
here's the
I
weird
mean, I'm
part.
fine.
The weird part of this is Ballard and company are not going to Philly tomorrow. It's
Right.
a assistant, somebody who obviously works close with Ballard and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it just seems odd that, like, and for me personally, Matt, I would say, like, if you were serious about if this is the interview that could decide if Steichen is going to be the one or not, you would want to be the one asking the questions.
Yeah.
So to me, that only makes me think that there's not going to be a decision tomorrow because,
Right.
I mean, for one, I mean, so the assistant, so let's just say for all intents and purposes that the assistant, ends up, liking what he hears from Steichen.
Mhm.
or if it's, I don't know who is the one that's actually doing the interviews. I don't know if it's Dodds. I don't know if it's anyone else,
Right.
but it'll be, but like that just means to me, and JDW, I see you in a second. I'll get you in 1 second, bro. But I'm like thinking he has to relay that to Ballard. They have to make a decision, and they're not going to give that assistant the a permission to just hire him right there on the spot. You can't talk with him the next week after that because he has Super Bowl to deal with. So it just seems like they're being extra prepared to take this for a whole nother week or two.
Yeah, it is weird that Ballard isn't going there. That is really weird. I don't know why that's the case. That is kind of confusing. But again, even if he's their guy, I don't think we're going to hear anything tomorrow. I think it would be something I would take a day or two anyway. And obviously they're not going to announce we've hired him until after the Super Bowl. So I think we're not going to hear anything probably until next week if he's their guy. If not, we'll hear that they're doing a third round of interviews. And I would assume, just like Adam said in the chat, you're probably going to see Steichen, Callahan, Morris, and then probably Jeff Saturday on that list. Just to make Jim Irsay happy.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Hey,
Jim
we'll
Irsay
make
being
you
happy. Sure. That's
we'll
all
give
that
you that
matters.
bone.
Anyways, guys, I'm going to bring on somebody else here. A lot of you guys know who this man is if you've been interactive in the chat at all over the last, 2 years. And I also am going to have to say congratulations to this fellow because he just hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Man that needs no introduction. JDW Sports Talk Show. What's up, my
What's
dude?
up, y'all? How you doing? How we doing?
It feels
In
like
a minute. It's
forever,
been too
dude.
long. It's been too long. How you doing?
Getting roasted by Bears fans on Twitter right now.
Are you actually?
Well, there was a tweet that came out
Hold on, real
that
quick.
said in Illinois, there are more counties that are majority Colts fans than Bears fans in Illinois. Somebody commented, nobody's rooting for the Colts. So I responded, nobody's rooting for the Bears. And then somebody responded on that, well, nobody's rooting for Inside the Horseshoe. I was like, oh, wow. And people were like, I was like, okay, Brett. Like, okay, buddy. And then somebody responded, well, Brett isn't paying for something that's free because I pay to edit my tweets. So I've been getting roasted by someone. And then the same guy that put the nobody roots for the Colts goes, cooked under everything.
Nobody roots for the Colts. Yeah, nobody roots for Chicago either. That's right. Hey,
I thought about responding to Brett and going, look, man, I'm sorry that you root for mediocrity because you're an Iowa State Cyclones fan. They're just the definition of mediocrity.
you could be worse. You could be an Arkansas fan.
Yeah. Shut up.
I'm sorry. I had to, dude.
Yeah.
The only reason I do it is because you guys ruined my brother's season for Cincinnati when y'all beat them earlier in the year.
Yeah, that's right.
And you ruined Cincinnati's season.
That's
they were going for something really good. They were gonna, if they won that they would have been still ranked, and they would have been in the AAC conference championship. They would have been in a decent bowl game. And sure enough, you ruined that for them.
Yes, sir.
So.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Listen, at least Cincinnati didn't lose somebody like Marshall. Okay. At least they didn't lose the Marshall. And at least your brother
how many
didn't go
horrible
to the
teams
Marshall Notre Dame game.
Did Notre Dame lose to this year? Didn't it lose like 2 or 3 no names?
Yeah, we lost to Marshall. I went to that game.
You guys
I watched
lost to Marshall
live.
Too.
I went to that game live.
He was at the game.
Them lose. So that was fun.
I texted him right after. I'm like, you must hate yourself.
I was not happy, to say the least.
I wouldn't be.
Lost Stanford. We did lose Stanford. Lost Ohio State, which, was understandable.
Oh, come on.
And then we lost
too.
USC, which we played like complete, defense played like complete trash against USC. Drew Pine actually went out pretty good in that game. But I went to the Clemson game, so at least I rebounded pretty well with the game I went to.
I was very happy when I saw Notre Dame put an absolute whooping on them. I must say.
was
That
fun.
was probably one of the better days of the season.
That was fun.
to
Hey,
see
you got to
them just-
go up you got to go to South Bend when Notre Dame, Ohio State plays.
Oh, I will.
Yeah, I'm gonna be
You
there.
guys ruined Clemson's season. That
Yeah,
game
that was fun.
ultimately kept Clemson out of the playoffs.
It wasn't even close. They got
Right,
smoked.
exactly. It wasn't even close. Like,
And
that
our
was the
quarterback
point
threw for
is
85 yards in that game.
who Clemson lost to versus who Ohio State lost to was the deciding factor.
Mhm.
And yeah. So,
That was a fun game.
hey, JDW, man. Hey, listen, I know I tagged you on Twitter. I know I said I messaged you from earlier, but I wanted to say it right here in front of the camera, in front of the 100 people who are in here, by the way. Also, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, everybody. And also be sure to go subscribe to this man down here, JDW, if you guys haven't already. The man just hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube after only 2 years of doing it?
Yeah.
2 years. And hey, listen, man, I'm so happy for you. I'm proud of you, man. I told you, I knew you were going to do it. I knew when you told me that you were going to do it. And I've been keeping up with you. I've been seeing how it's been going. And I just want to say, I'm happy for you, dude. And I'm proud of you for hitting that mark.
This doesn't mean it gets any easier. This means we work even harder.
Yep. Absolutely, man. Hey, you get that monetization now. So go.
Dude, it only took 2 days. I thought it took like a month, considering I had like almost 1,000 videos.
No, if you start the process as soon as you get it, then that's how it goes. So yeah, just start racking it in, dude. And especially this time of year with free agency and the draft coming around and everything. This is right at the time, man, that Cody and I hit 1,000 subscribers back in 2020, right here in late February, early March, right when free agency kicked off, and we put out content like there was no tomorrow.
Free agency, dude, you could really kill it in free agency.
Oh,
if you literally just put a player's name to Indy, there you go.
Yeah.
And
That's
to
it.
anywhere. I mean, like, I know you branch out into things more than just indie a lot of times. I mean, if you get the right tags in the video and you get the right headline and you get everything going, you get a good thumbnail, dude, I'm telling you, man, your shit's gonna get clickbaity. And that's what you need.
My advice would be, don't be like me and not make a video for like 2 months.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, don't do that. The more content you can afford to put out, the better. Because then
I did upload today though, and it has
you did?
over 800. It has over 800 views. So I'm kind of surprised.
What was it?
Wait,
not your
say
shitty Notre Dame team, right? Oh, sorry. I probably shouldn't curse because you guys are monetized, right?
That's all right.
Nah,
hey, we put up a video. I mean, we put up a video a day and a half ago, and it's at 5,000 views now. So
there you go.
it's almost disappointing nowadays that the videos don't hit like 2,000 views at this point. I just kind of expect it. Although there's a few videos that definitely don't hit as hard. I know when I'm making a video that doesn't hit hard and another one that does. Cody and I just kind of expect it at this point. But hey, listen,
how
man.
How is he doing? I don't see him on here as much as you.
He doesn't come around much right now, man. He's working. Unfortunately for him, he's been working like 6 days a week, and he's been working like 10, 11-hour days almost every day.
Wow.
So, he gets there, and the few times that he gets a day off of work, he spends it with his girl or his family.
Now,
so I'm like, I kind of get it.
Working, man.
I do have a question.
I hate it, man. Quick. I hate it. I hate that he's not near the podcast as much right now, because I'm having to contact a lot of different people. I'm contacting you guys. I'm contacting other content creators because I'm like, I like doing videos sometimes by myself, but when I don't have a big topic to talk about, I don't like doing it by myself because it just feels like it doesn't get anywhere. So I'm trying to expand my group of people around me to try to get things going. Hunter Peterson with the $5 super chat. Hey guys, nice to hear from you. I'm pretty nervous about everything going on, but hopefully we pull it off. Go Colts. Well, Hunter, thank you so much for that super chat. I appreciate it. Hey, JDW, man, I asked Matt, and right before you came in, like, what is your take, man, on this Colts interview process and the fact that it's been 26 days since the first interview that they conducted. And, there's the possibility that it could extend for another week, possibly two.
Chris Ballard's the same old Chris Ballard. He's doing his job as he's scared. He's being conservative. What do we expect? He's conservative. He's scared. Granted, he's going to lose his job. Probably, maybe. We don't know, but he's on the verge of. So he's even more conservative, and he's even more just scared to do whatever. At the end of the day, Jim Irsay has a say.
Mhm.
It's Jim Irsay is going to have the final say. Ultimately, I've had this gut feeling since the start. Could you imagine the uproar just doing all this just to bring Jeff Saturday back?
No, I couldn't. Because to think of the amount of pissed off people that would bring. Like, listen, I would get it if if you were gonna do that, you re-interview everyone that you wanted in that first round, and then you just go with Saturday. You don't drag this out for this long just to have it end up being Jeff Saturday. It's going to be the worst thing that you can do.
Yep.
But I'll say this, boys. I don't know if y'all saw the news earlier today or not. I think the only way I knew about it was seeing Pat's show for a few minutes. He was talking about how Chris Ballard sold his house today.
Right.
His house is
going to be
sold.
taken out of proportion.
Now, from what Pat said on his Twitter was that he is under the assumption that Ballard is building a new house. And that's why he sold this house, and he's just building a new house in Indy, and that's what's going on. But of course, people have said it's that Ballard may potentially, not want to be the GM if, Irsay overrules him again and says, no, Saturday, I'm making that decision. And I don't know. I don't believe it. I don't believe that there's anything to it. I think it's purely just speculation.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, it is pretty funny to think about, though, isn't it?
Yeah. I could tell you this right now. I will bet one person in the chat right now $1,000 that week 18 Chris Ballard will be the GM for the Colts
for next year.
He's not going this season. He'll be the GM
season.
this upcoming season. He's not leaving. He'll still be the GM.
Yeah. So
unfortunately,
yeah. Wyatt was talking about McAfee called the Colts PR guy, which I assumed who he was talking to. He muted the mic, and I saw the clip. He muted it. Said, "Yeah, was told Ballard was in fact building a new house." So yeah, I would have imagined that being this thing. You didn't want to have that all over the internet. Of course, smart by McAfee to do that.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go in with you. I'll add 500 on that.
Okay. Yeah,
I'll bet another 500 into it. $1,500 to some random person in my chat that Ballard will still be the GM come next when the season ends next season.
I'm not going to believe that he's going to change, or anything is going to change until he actually does something different, because it's the same thing, man. Don't get me wrong, paying Big Q that much money, that's questionable. A lot of you guys are probably going to disagree with me, but I think he needs to be kicked out the tackle or something, man, because at the end of the day, what's going to win you a championship? A $20 million guard or $20 million tackle,
Yeah.
I mean,
the good thing is who you have at tackles right now. I mean, at least from
Ryman came on towards the end of the year.
At least from the left tackle perspective, thankfully you have a guy in Bernard Ryman that you think if he just continues to get a little stronger, that he's going to end up being a fine left tackle. Yeah. He won't be elite, but he certainly will be far from average, which is definitely good enough to have in this league.
Yeah.
But I mean, JDW, for all intents and purposes, if this process continues to keep dragging out like this, I mean, who would you want to be the guy to, I saw your stuff that you were putting in the chat. I didn't know how honest you were being with me, but I want to know who who you truly want as the Colts' next head coach if indeed this process goes into a third round here?
I like Wink Martindale. I told you yesterday. No, you don't like Wink. He's older, but I like Wink Martindale. I like Mike Kafka.
I don't mind Mike Kafka, but he didn't get a second interview though.
No, yeah, that's true. That's true. He
So that's a pipe dream. That's a pipe dream.
Yeah.
Unless
I don't really know, man.
Doesn't do well on the interview and they just say, well, screw it. We'll interview Kafka on Sunday for no reason whatsoever, just because. I don't know.
I don't know. I just want this process to end. I just want it to end. We need the right we want the right guy, but like if you keep dragging it on, where's the confidence? If you keep letting these solid guys walk out the door, they're not gonna feel that you're valuing them. They're not gonna want to stay. They're not gonna feel like they should stay if they don't think they are worth it.
Yeah, and Leo, I did see this. From what I saw was people were talking about
that's the stupidest fucking trade rumor I've ever seen.
I know. Somebody said what? A second rounder for Jonathan Taylor? Like, are you kidding me? Maybe the best pure running back in all of the NFL, and you're only gonna get a second rounder out of him? Are you kidding me?
The Rams don't even have a first round pick.
Bro,
what the hell?
No, legitimately, if Ballard met trade, I'd want him gone immediately.
Oh
I want him gone.
I want him gone already.
First Take is filled with stooges, man. Like, these are clowns. Like, first off, do your research for the Rams' first round pick. First Take in what year? 2049? They don't have a first round pick.
Yeah, don't they? They don't have another one until what? Like 2025?
Maybe, but at that point, Taylor's not going to be valued more than likely that much by 25 because, as we all know, running backs, they'll hit a decline and they'll start to go downhill. But
Jalen Ramsey might be a good addition. Yeah, but Jalen Ramsey's getting older though. That's the problem. It's not about the fact that listen, and happy Friday, Stroud supporters. Yes, Brian, I greatly appreciate that.
I'm not a Stroud guy.
Yeah, whatever.
I like him, but
convince me otherwise that Stroud is not the best quarterback option at this moment.
I'm not really too stoked. Obviously Bryce Young is the best on the football field, in my opinion. Issue is he is so small. I am so scared. He's what, 5'10". That's what they're listing him as. He wasn't even measured yet. I think
everyone says he's 6 foot, but you look at a picture of him and Kyler Murray, he is literally the same height.
6 foot my ass.
So look up a picture of Nick Saban and Bryce Young standing next to each other.
Okay.
Like, look up a picture.
Okay. I'm looking it up right now.
Now, don't look up the heights.
Together. So Saban and Young. Okay. Let's present this. Let's all witness this together, shall we? So images.
Like, see, like that, for example. Now, question. How tall do you guys think Nick Saban is?
I don't know.
If you just had to guess.
I assume Saban's like 5'8", 5'9".
No.
Maybe they're the same. No,
Nick
Saban's
Saban,
a little taller.
Nick Saban's 5'6".
What?
5'6".
Look it up.
What?
5'6".
Look it up.
What?
That's what he's listed as on Alabama's website.
No.
Bruh, no.
No. No.
Yeah, right. And it's funny too because look, hold on. I took it off. Hold on 1 sec. Look at this. And the next thing, 6 foot.
Mm-hmm.
Says 6 foot. That's
no
cap.
Way.
That's
I will
cap.
say, I do not believe Nick Saban is 5'6". I think he's a little taller than that, but Bryce Young is not 6 foot tall.
No, absolutely not.
He's 5'8" if we're lucky. 5'8".
See, that's what I mean. Like, do you really want that small of a guy? Do you really want Kyler
that's
Murray
the
to take
risk.
to? I mean,
It's a
he
risk.
doesn't run like Murray at all. He has amazing pocket presence. You love that about him, and he sees the field very well. He comes to the NFL, the guys are even bigger. And
Right.
is he really going to be able to see all the, overall those guys are much bigger. Will his body hold up?
The thing is like Russell Wilson never really had a problem with that when he was in the league. Obviously, he's 6 foot, but I mean, is there really that much of a difference between 6 foot and 6'1"? I mean, to be honest, if you're not 6'3" or taller as a quarterback, then you're at a disadvantage when you're in that situation because being 6 inches shorter than all your linemen versus being 3 or 2 inches is not as bad. It does make a difference. Every inch does make a difference there.
I don't really want to panic for a quarterback this year, but they're going to because Ballard's in the hot seat and Jim Murray.
Oh yeah, you have to. You have to take one this year. You have to.
Yeah,
I don't like any of these top 3 guys as much as a lot of other people do.
So for me, I think we all agree, like the top 3 guys, which to me is Stroud, Young, and Richardson. They're not as good as the top 2 guys in next year's class, in my opinion. I think Caleb Williams is the best quarterback.
Caleb Williams by far and away is the best prospect at quarterback in all of this. I agree with you on that.
It's been a while.
I could argue that there is one quarterback or maybe 2 quarterbacks that could end up being better than Drake May. Now, I mean, Drake May is definitely going to be a guy that, could end up being a really good player in the league for a long period of time. But I could see Stroud being better than Drake May, maybe even Bryce Young if he doesn't get hurt. But the problem is again, you're questioning.
So small.
Caleb Williams is like Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers thrown together. But which is a weird comparison because honestly, I can't even make that comparison because Caleb Williams is more athletic than either of them at their peak, which is amazing. It's almost like what? It's like a less athletic version of Lamar Jackson, but having the ability of a Patrick Mahomes. I mean, it's just mixing that together, and that's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever team goes number 1 next year is gonna get the absolute. No, we're not going number 1 next year.
Here's the plan.
I'm not. Do you just
we're not going to give up our first rounder because we're going to end up getting Marvin Harrison Jr. next year. We're going to get Stroud this year. We're going to get Marvin Harrison Jr. in there.
Okay, you got half of it right.
Dynamic quarterback wide receiver duo that terrorized defenses all year long and will continue to do so in the NFL.
So here's the plan. This is exactly what's going to happen. So Jeff Saturday will be the head coach for the Colts this year. The Colts will then trade. Listen to me. The Colts will then trade back from 4. They're going to get another first round pick, maybe 2, maybe 1 in next year's draft as well as this year's draft. So they're going to move back and they're going to take a Hendon Hooker, a Tanner McKee, somebody like that. They're going to do that. They're going to finish last in the NFL. They're going to get the first pick. They're going to take Caleb Williams. Then they're going to also have Jackson Smith and Jigba with that other first round pick to be a receiver of his. And then they're going to get Marvin Harrison Jr. And then on top of that, depending on what other first round picks they have, they might get Joe Alt if they don't Bernard Raymond. That's the plan. And then Jeff Saturday gets fired at the end of the year. And we get a really good head coach.
Crazy to think.
I'm kidding, by the way.
What?
I'm kidding, by the way, in case nobody
of course. Now, let me analyze this for a second. Am I crazy to believe that if the Colts hire a older head coach like a Wink Martindale, like a Jeff Saturday for that matter, and they did that, don't roast me, comment section, okay? I'm going in nice and slow here, okay?
I'll hear you out.
We talked about last offseason about Matt Ryan being a bridge quarterback to a quarterback prospect in this draft for us if we wanted to go that route.
Mm-hmm.
what if they, because I heard from Drake and potentially Andrew as well on this, when they talked about if they hired an older coach or a guy that doesn't know how to develop a quarterback very well, they get a bridge quarterback in free agency.
Yeah.
And they draft Anthony Richardson by trading back.
Please.
Right.
I'd be down for that. Anthony Richardson, listen, I get it. You know, he has a huge risk factor to him.
Right.
But you have to take a risk. If it does pan
Not
out,
if you're the Colts, though. That's the problem. That's the problem is, and then on top of the problem with it is that Anthony Richardson needs to go into a situation where he can get developed. The only problem you have is if you don't have a head coach that is capable of developing that quarterback, then you get stuck in a problem. You get stuck in a problem with a serious guy that needs development, especially if he's not seeing the field for his first year as a quarterback in the NFL. There's a lot of other situations that he could go into that if he were to start right off the bat, the difference you would have is he'd have a bunch of different situations with offensive minded coaches that could train him along the way. They could suck for a year or two while he gets used to the speed of the game. And then in year 3 or 4, when he's about to get that contract extension, he's going to go off. And or there's even teams that have those bridge quarterbacks. We've heard the Jets are wanting to get one. We hear the Raiders are going to probably have to get one. You know, a bunch of other situations where they get one and they want to trade or they want to get Anthony Richardson as a backup. They've learned behind some veteran for a year, and that's how it works for them. Unfortunately for us, we're not in that situation because Matt Ryan sucks.
This is what's going to happen. We're going to cut Matt Ryan. Like, don't be mistaken. He will not be a part of the
he's
roster.
Getting cut.
He's
100% getting cut.
You know, if he cared about puppies and kittens, he would retire before, you know, we have to pay him. But we're going to take Andrew Dalton to be the bridge quarterback and then have Anthony Richardson back him up. That way we're guaranteed to get Marvin Harrison Jr. to work with Anthony Richardson. How do you like that, Derek Larger?
Anthony Richardson is the kind of quarterback that either your GM is going to look back on that move and say that was the most genius move that was ever made in the history of the NFL, or it was the worst move you could have ever possibly made.
How about this?
Yeah. Okay.
You're looking for a guy that's proven, that's ready. He's not a bridge guy.
Yeah.
He's on the trade market.
Yeah. What's
Lamar Jackson?
There's no way he's going like to anywhere. Like he will be on the Ravens. He's getting franchise tag.
I don't think so.
But no, he's not going to want to play. Here's the situation. So he did get exclusively franchise tagged. It's the exclusive franchise tag, which means that it prohibits him from talking to other teams in free agency. So the situation is this: either plays under the tag or he gets traded.
He's not going to play under the tag. He's not happy with
Lamar has already stated he will not play under the tag. So he's getting traded. It's almost a 90%. It's almost 90% true. He is going to get traded this offseason if they don't end up giving him $250 million guaranteed.
Right.
Well, I don't even know if it doesn't need to be $250 million guaranteed, but it needs to be a contract of $250+ million and needs to be over $200 million guaranteed.
Yeah, he's staying with the Ravens. They're going to franchise tag him, and then they're going to work out a contract. That will happen. They will let him sit for a year. They're not going to let him go. He'll be on the Ravens. He'll get that extension. If he's anywhere else, I will be shocked. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, he might go to the Falcons. He might go to this team, that team. He's going to be a Raven. They want him. They'll eventually cough up what they need to cough up, and they'll go.
Eventually.
Like they're going to do it. They'll sign him to that franchise, or they'll get him on the franchise tag. They'll sit down. They'll work with his agents, whoever they need to work with, and he's going to be with the Ravens. I like the potential, but I'm also scared of potentially going for someone like him because he gets hurt every single year. So if you're going to
quarterbacks like him don't last long in the NFL, boys. I'm just
that's
saying,
why
they don't last long.
Like for me,
I know people don't want to hear that because it's because he's such a great person and he's a great player. It's hard to make an understanding like that, but it's true. The reign that those kinds of quarterbacks go like off for is only for a very short amount of time. And if you miss that window, they drop so fast. I take Cam Newton. I mean, Cam Newton was one of the last guys to play like that, and he dropped off so fast from his best season as that to going to that Super Bowl. From that point on, Cam Newton was never the same. Never.
Right. And honestly, I could see, because I think Derek Carr is going to get cut. I can't see anybody taking him with the contract he has. I think he gets cut, and maybe he goes to the Ravens for 2 years or a year, just as like an emergency blanket, signs a cheap deal, whatever, kind of get somewhere else. Almost like the Trubisky route, where Trubisky was started for the Bears, went to Buffalo, was the backup for a year, and then went off somewhere else. Maybe they do that. And maybe he just goes to Baltimore.
Age. Okay, so
just to be safe. I'm sure Baltimore will be able to. Let me ask you
this, guys. Who's the best quarterback in the NFL right now?
Patrick Mahomes.
Okay. Who's the second best quarterback?
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow.
Yeah, Joe.
Who's the third best? Josh Allen, Justin Herbert.
Allen pissed me off this year.
Oh, I know, but you gotta
Allen. I don't think it's him. I gotta look at a list of quarterbacks.
Okay, let me.
Would we be willing to go with the healthy Lamar?
I think a healthy Lamar is a at worst top 10.
Yeah. Oh, at worst, 100%. But
Kirk Cousins. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay, so like honestly though, but like when top NFL quarterbacks 2022 ranking all 32. Let's see that. Okay, so I mean, let's think about this, right? Patrick Mahomes, you have Jalen Hurts in there. We said Joe Burrow, we said Josh Allen, Justin Herbert. Those two are top 5. We can't. There's no disagreeing there.
Those 4.
Jalen Hurts is in there. Trevor Lawrence. I mean, after what we just saw the last half of this season, I mean, Trevor definitely is the most
hot and cold quarterback I've ever seen.
I'll say this though, from the perspective of what we saw from about week 10 to the end of that season, Trevor Lawrence was a top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
No,
he's still so hot and so cold though. From like one play to the next, from one half, one quarter to the next, you don't know what you're gonna get from him from quarter to quarter.
Look, he didn't play the greatest in the playoff game. Obviously, at the end he did.
I think that Chargers game was a gross over exaggeration of that. Yeah. Literally in the last 8 weeks of the season, he threw for 16 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. I mean, he was so good for that amount of time.
If you look, let's take the last 8, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I mean, Lamar Jackson, I definitely would say is probably number 6 at this moment, right? Okay. What about, would you say Dak Prescott's a top 10?
No.
Okay.
I think he's just outside.
Okay. Would you say Kyler Murray's a top 10?
Hell no.
Okay.
Hell no.
Would you say
top 10 at Call of Duty?
Call of Duty.
Would you say a healthy Matt Stafford is a top 10?
I think he's like 11.
Okay.
I think he's borderline.
I think he's right in that area though.
Okay. And then
Kirk Cousins, I think, played as a top 10 quarterback this year. Like 9, 10. I think look at what he did this year with an offensive guy. I think you have to put Kirk Cousins in the bottom half of the top 10.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
So I'm just saying, like,
you would take Kirk Cousins over Dak?
Huh?
You would take Kirk Cousins over Dak?
Yeah, I would. Absolutely. Dak Prescott led the league in interceptions and missed 5 games. I would absolutely take Kirk Cousins over him. Yeah, he finally got an offensive coach.
And then on top of it, I mean, Minnesota had the second worst defense in the entire NFL to match. So
that's true.
So my point with that is that people keep saying, "Oh, this new age. Oh, this new age. Oh, this new age." Like 2 of the top 10 best quarterbacks in the NFL are pure runners. Pure. That all of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL, maybe if you want to include Lamar Jackson in there, only one of them has the special ability to run the football. Those other 4 guys, they can run, but it's not their main focus. It's not their best attribute. Lamar Jackson's best attribute is his athletic ability, which is a god tier. But at the same time, it's, again, this new age of quarterback is not, oh, you need a guy that can run. No, you need a guy that when the pocket collapses, he has the ability to be mobile, get out of the pocket, and move. That is something that needs to be. It doesn't
Bryce
need
Young
to be.
can do that, but he's so small. That's what scares me.
I understand that. I mean, that's the thing. Like, all of these quarterbacks, they all have mobility. They all can be mobile. They all, but like, I'm looking at it from the perspective of, I talk about this instance, guys. Like, I still say I'd rather have a stone quarterback in the pocket that can throw every throw known to man and make throws versus a quarterback that runs the ball every other time he's under pressure, but can't throw a consistent pass. Those quarterbacks don't last. Those quarterbacks don't make you good as an offense. I would rather have, that's why I make that argument with CJ Stroud over a bunch of other people, that Bryce Young clearly is a better athlete. Bryce Young is probably the second best athlete amongst all these quarterbacks. Anthony Richardson's clearly the best one from his overall traits. Will Levis can move. We saw him do that his junior year. Just my only thing is Stroud makes every throw that all of those guys can't. And that's why I would prefer him, because he can make those throws. I question what all those other ones can.
Can he create?
I think Bryce Young can absolutely make
horrible
just about any throw you want. The only thing, to me, it's size, like JDW said. Size is the thing that worries me with him. But I think pure talent, when it comes to his arm, his ability to create separation, to extend plays, his feel of the game, I think he's the best. But it's very close to me. That's why I would take CJ Stroud, because he has that size. He can make the throws, and he showed that if he needs to, he can extend. My only thing is, when he's under pressure, can he get that under control? The Georgia game showed that he can absolutely handle the pressure well. Can he do that on a consistent basis? That's what he's got to prove to me.
Yeah,
I think it's very close. Like, to me, and I think everybody would agree, if, let's say for some reason we do get the first pick, we trade up for, we trade with Chicago for whatever, or even a second pick if Houston moves up to 1, and let's say Houston loves Will Levis. I mean, I think we all be happy with either one of those two, Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. Like, because they're going to take a quarterback, and I think they should. There's nobody in free agency that I look at and say, yeah, that guy can be the guy for us, and that's, Matt Ryan obviously isn't going to be the guy. So I would absolutely take either Young or Stroud, but Stroud is who I prefer just because of his size. But they both have a great feel for the game.
Yeah,
they both can make just about every throw. It's just
Jeffrey
Bryce Young
Conner
is more
with
athletic.
$2 super chat. CJ Stroud is the next Warren Moon. I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, going back to the coaching thing. Okay, so we clearly know where you're at, JDW, when it comes to who the favorite is for you, Wink Martindale.
See, like, I don't know though.
What do you mean you don't know?
I fall in love with Wink Martindale's system, like on defensive side of the ball. I love the way he blitzes. I love the way he calls his defense. They're disciplined. But, the issue with that is the reason why he did not work out in the AFC with the Ravens is because when you play quarterbacks like Mahomes, Burrow, Herbert, those kind of guys, Lawrence, you cannot blitz and play man coverage like he does. But, like, I love the system he runs. It doesn't work. So I'm kind of going against myself because his system won't work. It won't get as far. Like, defensive wise, I just like how he holds his players accountable. He's older, he has experience, but I really don't know, man. I mean, is Shane Steichen really calling the plays over in Philly?
Yeah, he is. Sirianni's never called the plays in Philly. Very rarely. I was gonna say, like, Sirianni hasn't ever made a career out of that. Sirianni's never called plays. Sirianni just helps design the schemes, which helps, obviously. If he knows how to do that, then you just get a guy that knows how to pick the right play.
Okay, so then Callahan, he's always had a great quarterback, right? So have the quarterbacks made him, or has he made the quarterbacks?
He's well, I mean, definitely from a perspective of, Peyton Manning has given his endorsement of Brian Callahan. He definitely has high regards for him on how to run an offense. Okay. And then, of course, he went to Vegas where the Vegas Raiders, where he ended up with Derek Carr for a little while. And then, you got Matt Stafford as well. I mean, Matt Stafford definitely has always been a really good quarterback, but their offenses have always been good because they know how to get the best out of that offense. And then, of course, what we saw with the Bengals, I know a lot of people want to just say, oh, it's just all Ben Burrow and
yeah, exactly. But how hard is it to get an offense going with them? You know what I mean? Like, you have 3 amazing receivers, pretty damn good tight end. I like Hayden Hurst a lot. Yeah, O-line isn't great, but I feel like he has so much to work with. Right?
It's not great. And you saw when they took on the number 3 defense in the NFL against the Buffalo Bills with 3 starting offensive linemen down. They were down 60% of their offensive line, and yet still were able to dominate the Bills in every way.
But the Bills pass rush isn't really, like, without Von Miller, it's like, is it there? You know what I mean?
Christopher Taylor, $5 super chat. If Chris is truly on the hot seat, he should not have any business drafting a QB and fail, and we continue his failures long term. Send Ballard and rebuild.
He's been so scared to draft one.
That's been an issue that I think is true, is that he has been scared to want to do it, but now he's forced to do it.
Yeah, and
he's forced to do it now.
So go ahead, this is the way I look at it when it comes to Ballard and the whole quarterback situation. Obviously, he wasn't going to draft a quarterback in 2018. That was going to happen. Sorry, Dan Dockich. He was not going to draft Josh Allen. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry.
It wasn't going to happen.
That was never going to happen unless Josh Allen fell to the second round. He was never, and even then, he probably wouldn't take Josh Allen. Obviously Andrew Luck was there. They couldn't draft the quarterback that following year because Luck was still there. Obviously retired. And then just with how the team was built, I can understand them not drafting a quarterback the year they signed Phillip Rivers, because that team at the time seemed like they were a quarterback away. Defense was playing good. Offensive line was great. They had some pieces on the offense. They needed a quarterback. They felt like they could compete. I understood that. The following years when I think they should have took a quarterback with Justin Fields. That's when I think they should have drafted a quarterback in that year. But they listened to Frank Reich and they went with Carson. What year was that after? They say it again.
What year was that after? Like, to draft Fields? Was that after Rivers?
That was after Rivers, because
I agree with you. That's when they should have gotten aggressive, because you can't keep on bringing in new guys, new quarterbacks. This is where, like, I kind of feel bad for Frank Reich in a way. He had a hard time, especially towards the end, keeping the team together. But when you have a new quarterback every year, it's so difficult. It's so difficult.
There we go. I'm good.
Are we good?
Are we back? There we go.
Yeah,
we're back. I lost on my internet, just crashed there for a split second.
I was like, is it my internet?
No, it was mine. It just crashed. It went low for a weird reason. I don't know why, but
right.
All right.
That's right.
I completely lost stuff down here, so we should be fine now.
I tried to stay still. That way it looked like I wasn't losing connection. And people be like,
oh, we're just going to have to do one of those situations where you cut in and out, or just pretend that you're going silent, just.
Yeah.
Oh, did you go again?
Derek is frozen. No,
Come on.
hold on.
I actually got him for a split
Hold on.
second. I love it.
Hold on. I gotta
So-
show you this. I gotta show you this,
Get it?
Okay,
Derek. Real
please
quick.
do.
Here, hold on.
JDW, I gotta
I'll just
admit,
go on
man,
my
I
phone.
kind of like the
I'll show that to
look
you.
that you got going on.
Yeah.
Who
I gotta
the
shave
heck
this though.
is
I don't really
that?
like this.
That's Daniel Jones.
Why does it look
Yo,
like JDW?
I have to ask you guys a question. Seriously. I have to get like on every single short I post, someone says I look like Josh Allen. Every single post.
You
Like a
do
short.
look like a bunch of
Kinda.
different people at
Yeah.
quarterbacks in the NFL. You really do.
Who else did you guys
That's
say
a
that I
good
look
thing,
like?
though, man. I mean, people tell me I look like fat Andrew Luck. I don't see it, but they
I remember
say
that.
I do. So
I don't get good comparisons. Somebody said, "Hey, you look like a young Vladimir Putin." I don't get really good comparisons. I don't. When I shave my head completely, like in like a buzz shape thing, people go, "Oh, you look like Eminem." You know, like a more healthy Eminem. It just, I don't get good comparisons. I don't look like any athletes.
don't look like any athletes.
I look
therefore
like
must
a
mean I am
dictator
not
that
athletic.
might cause. I look like a dictator that wants to just rule over Europe. That's what I look like, apparently. But
For you.
but no, I felt bad for Frank Reich in the sense that there were all these quarterbacks that kept coming into the system, but the
Yeah.
year where they
That's what I was
drafted
getting at.
Putin, Josh Allen, Andrew Luck in the room right now. Yep. But the year they traded for Wentz, I don't feel bad because if they didn't trade for Wentz, they probably draft a quarterback that year. That's probably what would happen. And Frank,
Well, you know what? The Bears got him at 13, bro. Like, come on. Like
we
you
could have traded.
Yeah, you could have
have to be
traded. You could have
aggressive.
traded 10 spots and you could have gotten him.
We would have been okay. We could
It
have got
wouldn't
him.
be the
but
wildest trade ever made.
no,
Okay, we've seen plenty of those go down.
Yeah.
yeah.
But like
But
as go ahead, Matt, sorry.
Who is the
Yeah,
Mahomes
I just-
of this 2023 NFL draft?
No one.
No, there's not. There's not.
there's not a
no.
Mahomes.
Yeah, they're knowing what we know now about Mahomes. The only one that for sure is a for surefire thing for next draft is Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
So,
They're you'll be lucky if a quarterback in this class can get in the top 5.
Yeah, maybe Sean
Quarterbacks
Clifford.
in
I
NFL.
think there are about. I mean, I will say this. I think that of the
Fuck you,
four
Brandon
quarterbacks
Smith.
of the 4 quarterbacks that are in this class, I truly believe that there are 2 of them that eventually could become top 10 quarterbacks.
Hold on. Brandon Smith, go fuck yourself.
Whoa, 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 whoa,
Looks like
whoa, whoa,
Grayson
whoa. Where
Allen.
is he? What's he
Chill,
saying?
man, chill.
That's
Jeez,
worse than saying I look like Vladimir Putin.
What did he say?
Okay.
I look like Grayson Allen.
One's a dictator. The other one's just a
Is
crappy
the
basketball player.
Antichrist. Grayson Allen is the Antichrist.
He's the
That's what he is.
Antichrist. Yeah, get out of here, bro.
His high
What
school
did he
number
do to your
at
Bulls that was
6s.
so bad, huh? What did he do?
He almost killed Alex Caruso.
Oh, Jesus.
He grabbed him and
come
pulled him
on.
down when he was going up for a layup. He grabbed his arm and just pulled him down. Broke his wrist.
And Brandon's just laughing at you.
It's not a laughing matter, Braden. It's not a laughing matter.
Why don't I see him? Are you guys in the YouTube chat? I'm in the stream thing.
I'm on the
StreamYard.
StreamYard chat.
Yeah, I'm on the StreamYard thing. I see the
Stop
comments.
it, Lawrence.
If you have a
stop it.
if you're in the StreamYard thing, JDW, there should
Yeah,
be
you
an
can.
option to just see the comments, and then
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
comments will go up and
Right
down.
next to,
Okay, I see Brandon Smith now.
There you go.
I don't use labs anymore.
Yeah, I feel you. I still use it because it's very efficient and it's easy. So
I love it, like it's efficient and all, but I feel like you could be so much more creative with like OBS.
yeah, I'm gonna have to get into that. I think that either sometime
God
this
damn it,
after
Brad.
the draft and everything is done, I think
Yeah.
I'll probably start looking to get into it more.
Like-
Because then content
Yeah.
will be kind of weak at that time, and
Yeah.
I can spend more time kind of just dealing with it. We'll see how it goes.
Like, it could definitely take some more time getting some graphics together, but I mean, it's worth it.
What were we even talking about? Oh, yeah, that's right. We were talking about
Skip
okay,
Bayless hacked
so my two
Skip and Shannon chat.
So my two that I think could eventually be top 10 quarterbacks in this league would be CJ Stroud and Anthony Richardson.
Eventually, yeah. I think they have the best chance because to me, I would say Bryce Young, but Bryce Young has the size thing, and he's not like a Kyler Murray where he's just like built, like just the way he's built. He's more like stocky or whatever, like more like, kid that grew up working.
And it's scaring me too that Bryce is trying to gain an extra 20 pounds in order to be able to bulk up.
Yeah.
And that's going to severely change how he plays.
I'm going to, I almost accidentally pulled a racism for a second.
Don't pull racism in the chat. We can talk about it afterwards.
So, the kids, like in the summer, they would go to like the farms and they would pull crops and stuff. That's what kids used to do in summer, where they would go and they would pull corn off of, all the fields and whatnot.
Where are you going with this?
So there,
I think
in
you should
Indiana,
stop where you're at.
There is my dad did it when he was a kid. I don't know if they do it anymore, but in the summer, kids that can't work a job because they're too young, they would go, and there's usually a guy that runs, like a farm or whatever, like corn.
Okay. Just making sure I can mute him in case this starts going into bad situations.
There are kids.
I think it's already getting bad.
In the summer, they would go to some guy's house. They would pick corn, and that's what they would do, right? Like you would have those kids. I can't even think of the name. Kyler Murray, as far as his like build, he almost looks like a kid that did that because like my brother is built like that, or he's just built big. Bryce Young is more skinny. He's built bigger. I almost said I had to explain that because if I would have just flat out said it, it would have looked really, really bad. I can't detasseling. That's what it is. Detasseling. Jordan said it. That's what. And DSG too.
He just looks like a more natural build.
Yeah, he's more built.
Bryce Young. Yeah,
he's big. He looked like he was a bigger kid, and when he was younger,
he's more built for his frame than what Bryce Young is.
Yeah, Bryce Young looks like me when I was a kid. Like super.
And
skinny.
Kyler Murray looks like me when I was a kid.
Yeah, so detasseling.
Listen, guys, there was a point. There was a time in high school when I was actually very thin, and I was actually a very solid. I was a very solid weight.
Yeah.
Hey, don't talk down on yourself.
Life grew on me a little bit, unfortunately. I'm getting back. I'm gonna get back to it. I'm going to.
Yeah, you better.
I'm gonna be figuring it out. I'm gonna make sure that I get myself back to a weight that I kind of enjoy.
If you stop watching Ohio State, you don't have to, get sad and eat too much.
Get sad, bro. No. Here's the thing, though. When I get stressed when I watch games like that, and I stress eat, and that's the worst.
That's
part.
What I mean. Yeah.
As the Colts do that to me too. And it sucks.
Listen,
last season was even worse.
Dude, I am proud of myself. I put no holes in the wall this year. I still have the same computer chair where the leg is like bent. The wheel is literally like bent. But I did break 2 glasses. But I mean,
so question JDW, because you were talking about how Notre Dame to have a good year and Ohio State, stress Derek out. What did Arkansas finish in the regular season? What was their record?
I don't even know. I don't even remember.
Let's stick to the coaching portal. Okay. Let's talk about this. We know what's going on here.
All right. I have another thing I want to say about the coaches.
Yeah.
So I'm worried they are dragging it out because Ballard wants Bieniemy. We know how Ballard is with his connections and bringing in guys that he knows. Yeah. I don't want him just to bring Bieniemy in because he knows them. But it's also going to be appealing to Jim Irsay because Bieniemy is part of that offense. So
I did stop myself because I knew if I
Like the
would have
refrigerator.
just finished the phrase, it would have sounded bad. Somebody would have took that and made it a clip.
Would
And
you
it would-
rather have Tua or Bryce Young? Oh, I'd rather have Bryce. 100%. Yeah. Because knowing what we know now with Tua, I mean,
I don't know why.
it's clear.
Yeah.
And he only had his best season
It's not clear
due to the
Tua.
fact that he had the fastest wide receiver duo in the entire NFL and had a semi-decent offensive-minded coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. And
Breadstick
the fridge.
Podcast Part 2. Bro, no. Guess who followed me on Twitter yesterday?
who?
Fazoli's.
There we go.
Bro, I did
Who's
the breadstick stream. They freaking followed me, dude.
Oh,
You should message
Dude.
them and say, "Hey, your breadsticks made me puke. Send me some more
Bro,
breadsticks for free."
I did. I threw up that night, dude, and it sucked
how many breadsticks did you eat?
more than I'm willing to admit. So,
Now, look, I eat more.
it
than
was
what
all
I
I
should.
ate though at that time, but I ate something
Only 8?
else later.
Did it have
that
like
day that
garlic
didn't-
and stuff on it too?
What's up?
Did it have like all garlic and like cheese and like Parmesan cheese on it too?
No, it was just how they
Okay.
came.
Next time you do, next time you do a stream talking about breadstick or eating breadsticks, I'm going to have to join you, and you will see how many breadsticks I can consume. It is quite shocking. It is double digits easily.
Oh, it's the
I-
same for me.
I can
It's the same
eat
for me.
so much food.
Yeah, Fazoli's is goated, bro, when it comes to their breadsticks, dude.
Man,
their
dude.
breadsticks is goated.
The one time I came out to Indy, Derek didn't go. Me and Matt were trying to meet up. We just couldn't.
Yeah,
It just
we just
didn't
get it.
get there. But I'm so happy I went for the Jaguars and Colts game. The
Yeah,
game
that
that we
was fun.
scored a decent amount of
Yeah,
points and
because
stuff.
one of the great moments of the season. One of
That
the
was a fun
very
game.
So
only
happy
few.
we went out for that game. Drove like 11, 12 hours.
Yeah.
So worth it for that. Dude, I had such a good time. Like this stadium, how you walk in a stadium and it's like a stage. Do you see?
Yeah.
I loved it, dude. I could live in that
It's good.
stadium.
Had fun.
I
I'm gonna
loved it.
try
You
to
said
go
that was
next
your
year.
first time going, right?
Yeah.
That was
Dude,
your
I got a
first time
picture
in
with Luke
Lucas Oil
Rhodes.
Stadium.
I got a what?
That was your first time in Lucas Oil.
Yes.
Wow.
Nice.
Just incredible, dude. Like seeing everything, like the roof opening, the sides open.
Oh, they
It's
had
weird. There's like no parking lot. There's like no parking lot to the stadium. Like, you know
no,
what I
there's no
mean?
parch lots. No, it's just
It's like a bunch
it's
of little
just-
parking lots. It's $50.
yeah, it's
to
just
park in a
all
freaking lot.
parking lots, all like 3-4 blocks from the stadium, man. You just
Yeah.
find whichever one you can.
Yeah. And then they
I've
gave out like
enjoyed
this
myself.
free oil crap or the Lucas Oil stuff.
Yeah.
Freaking
There's
opened
a
in my pocket during the game.
there's a
So-
parking lot, like literally it takes like 2 minutes to walk to the stadium. It's like pretty much right behind the stadium. I have to figure out where it is again. I had to see if I'm pretty sure I bought it. I don't know if it's in the same account
Yeah.
of my park
Freaking missed
hero
that.
or
Dude.
whatever.
I loved it
I
out there.
Think I don't know what park this
Spot
is,
here.
but I park at this in the parking lot of this like baseball stadium that's like 2 blocks from Lucas Oil. So I always do that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like
I think-
$20 to park there, and it's easy access in and out every time. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just don't park in a parking garage. Don't do that. Or at least get there.
I parked in a
there
parking
super
garage one
early.
time, but the only problem is like the thing is though, if you're gonna do a parking garage, all the parking garages are literally like 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks away. It's a solid half mile to a mile away from the stadium. So,
Yeah.
or sometimes even longer. I've even parked like 2 miles away from Lucas Oil one time. So if you're
Yeah.
you're gonna do that, you need to be careful with walking.
Yeah, and make
For
sure
sure.
if you're going to do a parking garage, this is really for anybody, get there as early as possible, because leaving the parking garage to go home, if you get there like 30, 45 minutes before the game kicks off, it is a nightmare. Like if
Hey,
you're in
what's
the
up?
middle, if you're in the middle to the upper section of like a parking garage, it is a pain to get out.
Mm-hmm.
it sucks. So you got to get there super early. Try to come up with something to do before the game that you can do for a couple hours. That way, get a good parking spot in that garage, and then you don't have to worry about waiting 2 hours to leave. It's horrible.
Yeah, I bet.
It's
Yo,
awful.
you know what I was
hated
kind
it.
of mad about though? I didn't come prepared with like a marker and a football because I was close. I was really close.
Yeah.
I was like 4-5 rows away from the Colts bench.
Mhm.
We were waiting down at the bottom, and Chuck Pagano comes walking by.
Nice.
Like I've never been in a situation like that. Like seeing someone like that, they just I love the team so much and all that. I have so much passion for it. When I see a player or something, like, dude, I almost passed out multiple times.
Nice.
I got a picture of Luke Rose. The dude's cool.
I've been a few times. I wish I can go more often. The Broncos Colts game when Jacoby was the quarterback was great. Obviously, this is kind of the area where I was at. That close is where I was at. That was the end zone where Von Miller was going to sack Jacoby Brissett in the end zone towards the end of the game, where he kind of whipped him off and threw that like 20, 30-yard bomb to TY.
Yeah.
I
remember that play too.
And surprisingly, it of course depends on the game, but you can get seats in that area for not too bad of a price. Like, you can get it for pretty decent. Now, if you're going to like a big game, it's obviously going to be super expensive, but depending on, I'd be for that. But
Wait,
yeah,
who's John Michael
recommend
Smith?
Minnesota center.
Away. Yeah, he's the center. They said that he's clearly the
Never heard
number
of
one
center.
center in all of college. I mean, I wouldn't hate the idea of it. I wouldn't hate it.
I
Get that
think it's
contract
time.
off of you. You can get another draft pick.
Yeah, I think it's time to move on from Ryan Kelly.
Yeah,
so I was content with like
Did it
Danny
again.
Pinter. Yeah, he froze again. I was okay with
did it
the
again.
I don't believe
idea
you
of
no
Danny
more.
Pinter, but
Sorry.
now you're good.
Colts need a quarterback, offensive mind coach, wide receiver, cornerback, edge, linebacker, maybe even safety. Okay,
And
so
That's a lot.
let me just say this. So yes, they need a quarterback.
Yes.
Yes, they need an offensive minded coach. Maybe.
Maybe.
They don't need a wide receiver unless it's going to be an elite one.
Pittman pissed me off.
They
this year,
don't.
though.
They need a cornerback, but they're not in desperate need of it.
Yeah.
Edge, again, unless you're going to get a premium player, you don't need one.
Yeah.
And then for linebacker, no, you don't.
No.
You're going to have Shaquille, Zaire,
linebacker
and
from.
EJ Speed because
Yeah.
Bobby's not coming back.
No.
That is still an elite offensive or an elite linebacker crew.
Yeah.
And safety, you literally just had a rookie have 4 interceptions as your free safety this year. You
Yeah.
are just fine.
He's your 7th round pick.
Yeah.
Lawrence, Colts Law in the freaking building, man. Everybody go subscribe to Lawrence Owen, man. He was a great friend of mine. Christopher Taylor again, JDW. We went to that same game. My wife and I, we were in 143. It was different.
Nice.
It was magic in that building. It was amazing.
Yeah. I took
that again as he walks back in here.
I took someone from work to that game, and the guy no longer works where I work at. So it's kind of bad luck. That kind of ended up being bad luck because he was fired, and then when he got fired was when the season just completely just fell apart. So
What I missed?
that was fun. Oh, Christopher
Taylor sent another donation. Thank you for that, by the way, and said that he was they were at the same game.
That was so happy. That was a game that we went through though.
That was a great game.
It was one of what only one of only what 2 games that the Colts won at home.
Yeah. And you know, this season, making content and like doing live streams, it was so repetitive. It's the same thing every week. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that's kind of why I wasn't having as much fun because it kind of felt like the same thing over and over again. Where it's like, okay, guys, Colts lose. Matt Ryan played like complete trash. Offense was bad. Defense played good for the most part, and then they eventually got tired out. Yeah, I feel you there. Hey, does anybody want to tell Domantas Sabonis to score more than 15 points so I can win $500, please? The one game that I
Not
put
getting
money on
anywhere
him for.
nowhere with Pittman and just Pittman and Campbell. Well,
Campbell's
it's
trash.
not just Pittman and Campbell. For if anything,
Campbell just straight through.
actually it should be Michael Pittman and Alec Pierce, because we don't know if Campbell's coming back or not, but he should. And again, they didn't have a quarterback to be able to throw the football to him, and the offensive scheme was trash all year.
Yeah.
We saw what would happen if you threw the ball to Alec Pierce. He had 2 touchdowns against Dallas. Okay.
Awesome.
Paris Campbell from mid-October to the end of November was the best wide receiver on our team, who was averaging 6 catches a game for 60 yards and a touchdown during those weeks. And Michael Pittman can get 1,000+ yards every season. You just need to actually be able to throw the football to him. That's one thing I was saying, like, dog on Wentz all you want. He actually knew how to get the ball to Michael Pittman. Throw the ball 50 yards down the field.
He just throws it up to get himself bailed out.
I mean, that's it. Just throw it up. Michael Pittman, 6'4". Ain't no freaking, no way, no corners guarding him. None.
But is he going to fumble the football? That's the question.
Well, he had issues this year with it at the end of the year.
That
I think
it
just had
that,
more.
That pissed me off so much.
I still like Pittman, but that was a problem.
Yeah, it was.
I do, but I feel like he wasn't. Yeah, the offensive system sucked and stuff, but I just feel like he didn't step up. I mean, as I said, it was hard to, but I feel like he has to find a way to step up sometimes.
Lawrence, plus Paris was open so often and never even got looked at.
I actually liked Paris a lot this last year.
Bro, I will just say this. There was, I keep bringing this stat up every freaking time, and people still find a way to discredit it. I don't know how, but they do. Paris Campbell was a top 10 wide receiver at average yardage of separation per route ran in the entire NFL. Top 10. There's only 8 wide receivers that were better at creating separation on their routes per an average basis than Paris Campbell. So again, that shows again that it was the quarterback's fault, not getting it to Paris Campbell. There was literally a play, gentlemen, that when we played the Chiefs, right? There was that, y'all remember that 4th down and 1 early in the game when they were on their side, the Chiefs or the Colts side of the field. And it was a 4th and 1 and they decided to throw the ball and Matt Ryan didn't get rid of it. And Paris Campbell was coming on a drag route across the middle of the field. No one even close, but Matt Ryan was looking to his left, trying to get it to Pittman, didn't look to the right and just got smoked and ended up fumbling the ball and giving them the ball at that point. Y'all remember that? They say, that Paris Campbell was wide open with no one within 10 yards of him. And if he catches that, he's gone. There's a touchdown.
Yeah.
But
Derek, listen. Whenever I say Campbell's trash, I'm just trying to get you going because you're fun to get
I know you were, but the problem is you're stirring the masses. Is that there are other people in the chat that follow along with your BS there. Kylan Granson was the number 1 tight end in the NFL at yards of separation also.
Granson, I'm mixed on.
Granson was really good this last year, man. He
tripled
has
those
every
drops here and there.
He had this last year.
But he has those drops in there. It just
not anything that made me concerned. I mean, Michael Pittman's drops made me more concerned.
Yeah, Pittman pissed me off with his drops.
Granson only had 1 or 2 that I ever saw. So Harris is injury prone. Let's keep it real. No, he's not. He just had some unfortunate injuries his first couple years.
Injury prone.
He's not injury prone.
Injury prone.
He literally played an entire 17-game season and never missed a snap.
Okay. Darius Leonard's injury prone.
Never missed one.
How do you feel about that? With Darius Leonard.
Lawrence Owen backing me up. He had 1 drop and had the best catch percentage on the Colts, referring to Kylan Granson. Paris was number 2.
Yeah, but did he really have a lot of targets?
Yeah, he did. He got targeted
Hit
like
some.
50 times this last year, maybe more.
He was effective when you needed him.
Yes,
To
he
be,
was.
So,
I'm gonna look
I
it
was.
I don't know.
I
I
was
feel
happy.
like he had a
Is-
few
I'm gonna look
drops
up-
that
I'm gonna
pissed
look
me
it up.
off.
I'm
No.
looking it up.
Is he somebody that I think is a number 1 tight end?
Absolutely not.
No, he's like
I
a
think
number
Jelani
2.
Woods is that guy.
I think Jelani can be. I think
He had 40
um,
targets this last year, had 31 catches for 302 yards.
How many drops?
What?
like
How
one.
many drops?
How many drops?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can even find that. His catch percentage was 78%.
Okay, hold on.
So
It's pretty good.
it's pretty daggone good. And that's not even I mean, let's just say half of those incompletions that were thrown to him were drops. Okay, so that means he
2
had
drops.
so that means he had 4 drops on the year.
All right. I'll eat shit on that one.
Assuming that half of them were.
Maybe I think I'm overreacting to. I think he dropped one in the Patriots game and it led to a pick 6.
Yeah,
I
describing all the
feel like
Ryan
that's-
fumbles. Yeah.
And I feel like that's where
Now
I'm still
this-
keeping a grudge.
Colts for life, I can get with you by. I
Yeah.
can actually agree with you.
I can
here.
agree with that.
They
You
need
don't
to cut
use
him.
him.
They need to
I-
cut. They need to trade him or cut him.
No one's gonna
There's
trade
no
for him.
reason that you should be paying him $8 million a year.
No,
There's no reason for that.
absolutely not.
He should be making at maximum $3 million a year. At maximum.
Right.
For the production that he gave you this last year, he was the least productive tight end in your entire group, but yet is getting paid quadruple what the other two are.
Ridiculous. Yet the other 2 are wildly more effective.
Yes.
It's not even funny.
Right. All right. I got to hop off real quick. I got to get around for work.
All right, be careful if you hop off. Don't hurt yourself.
Yeah, I've done it a few times.
All right, my dude. I'll keep talking with JDW for a while if that's cool.
Oh, yeah. Sounds good.
All
I'll
right.
see y'all later.
See you
Later,
later,
dude.
man. Glad you're back.
Oh, yeah. Don't
Just
know
take
how
that
many
hat
videos
off
I'll
and,
make
and
a
we're
week,
good.
but
And then you'll maybe more people watch your videos.
This hat right here does better than being 6-6. You know,
Okay, who do you play?
winning the Liberty. Who do you play? Who do you beat?
We play in
Nobody.
the SEC.
Okay. How many SEC wins do you have?
Let's see.
0.
You literally,
Okay, you have like
the
1 or
best
2.
win you had all season was against Cincinnati, and that was week 1.
No.
You had to score over 50 points to beat Kansas. Kansas. Not a basketball, but football.
Okay.
Kansas.
Let's see. I like to put, screw it.
Oh, you're right. In just a minute.
Club
You wanna...
schedule.
So they finished. They won 3 games in SEC. Won 3
What the
games.
heck? Why is it pulling up basketball? I literally have Arkansas Razorbacks football schedule, and the first thing that pops up is a basketball game.
You guys beat Ole Miss, which
Is
Thank
incredible
you.
to say the least. I don't know how
Yeah.
that'll ever happen again.
you beat Auburn. Congrats on beating Auburn
Congrats.
of all teams. And then you guys beat South Carolina when they were playing like trash in the first half of the season.
True that.
Keep talking.
And then you lost to Missouri. And
Keep
then
talking.
you had to score
talking.
55 points
Keep
to
talking.
beat Kansas when you allowed 53 points to
Hey
Kansas.
Matt. Okay, listen, JDW, I'm gonna back you up here.
Listen.
real quick,
Okay.
This-
Okay.
Notre
Okay,
Dame.
let's see.
Okay, Matt. I'll just say this.
Y'all lost to
Look, for
Liberty.
as good as your team ended the season, and again, I greatly appreciate how you guys attempted to help Ohio State out at the end of the year, though despite the fact that we ended your season before it even started.
Yeah, we would have still made it.
I
if we would've won
I
out.
greatly appreciate the fact that somehow, some way, Marcus Freeman saved his ass from being 1 week away from being absolutely canned for how treacherous of a season you guys started off on.
He wasn't going to get fired.
Treacherous.
Dude, Brian
Treacherous.
Kelly. Brian
That's
Kelly
why-
lost to South
That's
Florida
why you'll
and a bunch of
never
other
be an
trash
elite
teams.
program, bro. That's why
Bro.
you'll never be an elite program. No, elite programs never start the year off 0-3.
I'll let you talk your stuff because next year you guys are going to get beat by Notre Dame. Who's your quarterback? Who's your quarterback?
That at the moment, I don't know.
Shitty McGraw, is that your quarterback?
I know that my defense is going to swallow you guys up again, and you're not even going to get 10
defense
points
that
next
allowed
year.
40-some points to Michigan.
The defense that held you guys to 10 points this last year and is going to do better the next time around.
Our defense,
the defense that isn't losing anybody.
Points.
That's returning the best linebacker in college football and two of the best edge rushers in all of college football.
Michigan showed that if you attack the secondary, if you have a quarterback that can attack, let's be fair.
Every single one of them is returning this year, getting another year of eligibility, and one of the best corners in the entire transfer portal just came to Ohio State.
Your secondary wasn't great. It wasn't good. Nobody attacked it.
It was good at the start of the year.
Nobody
just
attacked
at the back end of the year, it wasn't.
Nobody attacked it, or they just overthrew the ball. Like Tyler Buckner overthrew it. You first play of the game, you let
I blame
Lorenzo Styles run for
the
like 60-some yards.
Of Jim Knowles in that rather than anything else.
Jim Knowles is one of the best defensive coordinators.
Yes,
so
and he thought that the best way to beat the Michigan Wolverines was to blitz 7 and just play straight man-to-man. And when we couldn't get pressure, then McCarthy just threw Hail Marys and it worked.
Your secondary's not great.
It's going to be better this year.
It's
and our
trash,
defensive line is already elite. It's about to be even more elite this next year.
They're not going to touch Sam Hartman.
Elite.
Our offensive line is going to bully.
We're going to have 3 draft picks inside the top 45 picks this next year on that defensive line.
Our offensive line is going to have so much success against your guys' defensive line that Sam Hartman could just lay down, take a nap for 5 minutes, get up and throw a 70-yard bomb.
JT Tuimoloau will destroy any of your offensive linemen. Eat them up and spit them out just to eat them again.
Not going to happen. Nobody's going to beat Joe
100%.
Alt. Nobody's going to beat Joe Alt. Joe Alt's the number 1 left tackle in college football. He's been the number 1 left tackle in college football. Blake Fisher is going to own
JDW. I hear this every year from him, and it never changes.
Look,
it doesn't ever change. They don't
never
do
said
anything about it.
Look, until this year, I've never said you guys were going to beat, or that Notre Dame was going to beat Ohio State. Heck, I didn't even say it last year
anymore.
I said I don't know what's going to happen. I just said it's going to be a tough first game because you're going up against. You have a first-time quarterback going against a top 5 team with Ohio State, but Ohio State doesn't have C.J. Stroud coming back.
But then Ohio State has a much more difficult schedule.
Very true.
Kind of.
Who does Notre Dame play?
USC. We play USC. I could pull up their schedule. Ohio State we play this year. Clemson is pretty good. They're not great, but they're pretty good. They're a top 25 team.
It's funny, JDW, because earlier in the year, Notre Dame, if anything, Notre Dame deserves to give Ohio State more credit because it gave them more credibility on the fact that they beat a top 4 team they lost to a top 4 team by only 7 points in that game. Y'all got lucky. And the simple fact of the matter is at the end of the season, when they were playing devil's advocate on who could still get into the playoffs, Notre Dame's argument, they didn't want to count you guys as a quality win early in the year, but then at the end of the year wanted to, simply because of the fact Ohio State was the only team that you guys lost to that was only by 7, and it was in the top 5. So congratulations, Ohio State. You need to thank Ohio State for anything, for helping you guys out with your resume along the way, because nobody wanted to count you guys as a quality win for us ever. No matter what you guys did. Even after you beat Clemson, everyone was like, oh, well, whatever.
Everybody says that because everybody hates Notre Dame. You either love Notre Dame or you hate Notre Dame. That's the fact. They are. No,
if y'all actually joined a conference, then maybe somebody would actually like you.
Why would we need to join a conference?
Because then you can actually make it into the top 4 one day when you actually play well enough to do so.
We've done it twice. Technically 3, but we lost our way out of it.
Put it in the rules now to prevent you from ever going in again.
When they expand the playoff. But I don't care. As long as Notre Dame has a home game, I could care less. That's the only thing. Notre Dame will never join a conference unless the NCAA and the College Football Playoff Committee says if you're not in a conference, you don't get to host a playoff game. If that happens, Notre Dame will join the highest bidder because Notre Dame, like them or not, they are one of,
Rich,
if
get
not
outta
the
here,
most
bro.
valuable if Notre Dame joined the ACC, they are obviously by far the most valuable program in ACC. If they join
the
SEC,
somewhere,
well, I'm finishing. If they join SEC, top 2, top 3 most valuable. And I'm talking brand. I'm not talking quality. I'm talking brand. Worldwide, well-known brand.
We know we're not talking about quality.
We're talking brand. Because obviously Notre Dame's not as good as Alabama, Georgia. Like, obviously. But they would be a top 2 because when you look at them as a brand, more people know about Notre Dame than every team but maybe Alabama in the SEC. And then you go to the Big Ten.
You know what else they know about
top
Notre Dame?
2, maybe top 3 because Michigan does have the Jordan thing. But they're definitely a top 3.
I at least respect JDW for liking the Razorbacks due to the fact that it can't be easy to be one of those.
Yeah, I'll give you credit. The fact that you're still a fan after so many years of mediocrity.
Listen.
Yeah, I can respect that.
Listen, I'm going to tell you why I'm a Razorbacks fan. I used to be a Penn State fan, right? Just
oh god, that would
didn't get the feeling when they won. I didn't get that good feeling. When the Razorbacks won, I got a good feeling. So I like the Razorbacks, you know what I'm saying? Like when the Colts win, I get that good feeling. I get that pumped up feeling. I never got that with Penn State. Razorbacks, I did. I like weird teams, man.
Yeah.
Especially where I'm from, you don't ever hear of a Colts fan. You don't ever hear of a Razorbacks fan. How many people you know?
Ian Rappaport on Raheem Morris for the Colts head coaching position on Rich Eisen show said Raheem Morris, I've heard, has done very well. I certainly think that he is one of those candidates to watch.
I don't believe anything. Yeah. I don't believe anything they're saying. Oh, yesterday someone said Jeff Saturday's the lead or the front runner. Then who was it today? Besides who you just said, Raheem Morris. It was someone else they said was a front runner. Wink Martindale to start the third round.
I do have to go, but real quick, Skip and Shannon undisputed. I really do hope Notre Dame does play Oregon in the near future because I want to see Oregon get absolutely slaughtered by Notre Dame after offering $2 million to a player that was committed to Notre Dame.
One more thing before you go, Matt. Reports are coming in that 2 teams have already made offers to the Bears for the number 1 overall pick.
I assume the Texans are one, right? So they can secure Bryce Young.
I would assume either the Texans or the Colts, I would imagine.
It wouldn't surprise me if it was the Colts either.
Here's the thing. I honestly...
Watch out for Carolina.
I'll just say this. I'll be completely honest with you. If the Colts feel that that Bryce Young is clearing away the number 1, I would be half tempted to just say, let the Texans go up to number 1. Take the Bears at number 2. Like,
but if they want,
why wouldn't the Bears do that? Right? They get more and more draft picks.
They would. I just think if the Texans trade up to number 1, they're doing that. Thank you. They're doing that so they can get Bryce Young. I think Bryce Young is Houston's number 1 target. That's just my feeling. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe D'Amico Ryans likes CJ Stroud more or Will Levis more. I hope he likes Will Levis more. Heck, I hope he loves Tanner McKee. He's a NFL-style quarterback. Go on down to Houston. You'll love it.
Listen. I know. I got our answer for head coach.
He'll be a 2nd or 3rd, I think.
I have our answer
probably
for head coach.
3rd, but
it's simple. We trade the number 4 overall pick to the Niners for Kyle Shanahan. That way, we don't need a freaking quarterback.
He'll make.
Well, it goes to show you still need a quarterback. Even then, I mean, you still need a quarterback, though. That's the problem.
If he can make Brock Purdy look like a really good quarterback.
Oh, let's not talk trash on Brock Purdy.
They had one of the best offensive lines. They had
Exactly.
easily the
True.
best running back in the NFL this year, running behind it. They had great weapons. They had the best defense in the entire NFL. Let's not act like Brock Purdy was walking into a bad situation. He was walking into literally the best situation you could have possibly walked into.
Right, but
I
we
mean,
saw Josh Johnson when he walked into
I was
that
gonna
great
say,
situation.
Josh Johnson didn't do shit.
Yeah,
that's the point. Brock Purdy looked good.
All right, I do have to go.
I'm gonna just end it here because it's we'll see. I'm probably just gonna end it here because it's been an hour and a half, and I've been fortunate to have you both on for this amount of time, and I'll get it on for another time. But
definitely.
Hey, listen, JDW, Matt, thank you both so very much for tuning in and being here with me today. We'll definitely do more of these. Guys, be sure to tune in for the next couple videos that we have coming out over the weekend. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And as always, go Colts.
Go Colts.